So it's out of the way completely. I didn't think it would do that. Get rid of you. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. All right, everybody. We are back with a special episode of Sports on High. I'm John, and with always is Rich in Chicago, and we're sitting down with some brackets right now. We're going to fill them out. We're going to talk about this thing and be very blunt about it. I don't know anything about the tournament, about NCAA basketball. I don't follow college sports at all. For some reason, I only care about guys when they reach pro level. But we're going to look at the bracket. We're going to have Rich break it down for me and why things should make sense and what's what. So let's start at the top. Rich, how you doing, bud?
I'm fantastic. So the problem I think that most people have is they go off of ESPN and all their crazy bullshit. Experts have an opinion on this team shoots threes, this team doesn't.
Right.
People need to look at it the way that they consume it, and it's always the post. It's always after the game. What is the headlines that they read? What are the stories that they read the next day? What are going to be the stories on Monday after the first two rounds? Like, that's where your answers are. Because everybody knows the stories. Like, I'll give you, for instance, the first game tomorrow is Little Dicky Pitino versus Louisville with Big Dick Pitino sitting behind him in the stands. You get Minnesota, Louisville, Little Richard Pitino coaches Minnesota, playing Louisville in the first round, the opening game, a Pitino Bowl. What's the real story? The story is Pitino gets revenge, or is the story Louisville gets Pitino fired again?
Which bracket is that in? So we're looking at the right thing here?
This is in the East bracket.
East bracket, okay.
Minnesota, Louisville.
Minnesota and Louisville, right there.
So what's a better story? Louisville gets Pitino fired again, or Pitino takes out Louisville? Or Pitino gets revenge on Louisville? I'm asking you.
I'm going to go Louisville.
You think Louisville gets Pitino fired again is a better story? I think Louisville's a better team. Minnesota stinks. They're terrible.
Okay, so you think that Minnesota beating Louisville is the better story?
I think it's a bigger upset story, but I think the better headline is Louisville fires Pitino again, because I think Little Pitino gets fired if they get blown out in this game.
Okay.
So I think that's the better story, personally, for me.
So does that put you with a Minnesota advancement there?
No, it puts it Louisville, because Little Pitino coaches Minnesota.
All right, we move Louisville in.
I think Michigan State's a no-brainer. Bradley doesn't really have any horses. The interesting game above that is LSU Yale. Now, LSU's coach hasn't actually been fired yet. He's suspended. He's got his phone tapped. They got the wire tapped.
Okay.
That was one of my favorite songs. We got your phone tapped. What you gonna do? Because sooner or later we'll have your whole crew. I don't know why. I don't know why they aren't playing that song every time. Arizona or LSU's on TV, because both coaches are. But anyways, they're all predicting Yale. A lot of people are predicting that that's one of those big upsets.
Okay.
I don't see it. I don't understand. It's like LSU has all the better athletes, all the better talent, but they don't have the NBA talent. It's going to be a theme you're going to hear. Too much NBA talent on a college team does not equal success.
Okay.
You can tell me the last NCAA champion that had three NBA players in the starting lineup, like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I heard something today that Anthony Davis was the last player to win the tournament and then become a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, just it doesn't have NBA talent in college does not translate to
Winning the tournament.
winning the tournament.
Right.
There's too many other variables involved. So I think LSU spanks Yale in that first round.
Okay.
I think you can lock that in. I think if you're in an eliminator pool, LSU is a fantastic first pick. So like in the Belmont Maryland game, great headline: Maryland fires Turgeon. Their coach is sitting on the bubble, teetering on. They've been wanting to fire this guy all year. What's better than an 11/6 nail in his coffin?
All right, Belmont.
Yep.
Belmont. All right.
Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, easy in. Those are your classic, like, scrappy guys. If one of them lights it up for a bunch of threes, but it's not going to happen. The interesting game now, you get to, like, VCU, UCF. UCF has one of the greatest named basketball players all time. He goes in the all-name team. He is like 7'2", maybe 7'6", center, and his name is Taco Fall.
Why have I not heard of a guy named Taco Fall? That's amazing.
And that's Taco with a K.
How do you get Taco with a K? I thought all tacos were a C.
I didn't name him.
All right. That's fair enough.
I'd really like to pick Taco Fall just for the name. Like, is that a good enough reason?
I can't give you logic for whether a reason is good enough, because I was going to fill out my bracket in something that is referred to as Balky Bartolomus style. Bartolomus. I always butcher that last name. That was the old Perfect Strangers show. And one day, Balky found himself with a football pool. And he went through the entire list and went on a winning streak by looking at the list and saying, well, listen, a bear would maul a redskin, so the Bears are definitely going to win. A hurricane would take out a building, so no. He used the most illogical references for the wins, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to go through and say, hey, a Blue Devil. What's North Dakota State?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever they were, I was going to figure out if a Blue Devil would beat them or not, and I'm going to assume that a Blue Devil would beat lots of things.
All right. So for the VCU UCF Balky Bowl, you have the Golden Knights versus the Virginia Commonwealth Rams. Who you got? A Ram or a Golden Knight?
I say a Ram. A Ram? Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. A knight, is the knight going to be on top of his horse?
He's a Golden Knight.
So he's going to be full of armor, too. So that's going to be hard for the Ram to hurt him through. All right, I'm going with the Golden Knight.
All right, UCF and Taco Fall it is.
All right, and that's the pick a la Balky.
Yep. All right, so that gives you the Duke Blue Devils versus the Golden Knights and Taco Fall.
Yeah, that's an easy Duke for me.
All right. Mississippi State, Virginia Tech. I want to pick Virginia Tech just because we need to see Duke, Virginia Tech again, because Virginia Tech's already beaten Duke. And in that game, neither team had their best player. Like, it was when Zion was out.
Okay.
But Virginia Tech didn't have their best player either. And he's back now.
All right, so we're going Virginia Tech versus Duke in the Sweet 16?
In the Sweet 16.
Okay.
Louisville, Michigan State. I'm a Michigan State homer. I just think it's one of those Izzo years. And big story, I think Belmont is your double-digit seed that makes the Sweet 16.
All right, so we got Belmont as the Cinderella story so far out of the East.
Yeah, I mean, double-digit seed the last several years has made the Sweet 16, so you got to pick one. I don't see why not picking on the coachless LSU team.
Okay, and with your man crush on Michigan, is that where Belmont's streak ends right there?
Yes, that's where the senior prom night ends.
All right, which leaves Duke Virginia Tech. You were talking about that rematch. What do you see happening there?
I really want to pick Virginia Tech because I hate Duke. I love Zion. Don't get me wrong. All in on Zion. I think Cam Reddish is going to be a great pro. But I do not think that Duke makes the Final Four.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
I think the best story is we get Duke UNC the rematch in the final. And Duke has to go through Gonzaga and Michigan State and everybody to get there. It's what the networks want. It would be one of the highest rated championship games in a long time. However, the NCAA tournament does not give Daddy what it wants.
That's true.
It gives you what you need. Now, would the biggest story actually be Duke doesn't make the Final Four?
Yeah, Duke not making the Final Four this year is huge because with their 3 lottery picks, everybody expects them to go real deep.
I mean, if it's not Virginia Tech, I don't think it's going to be Michigan State, but it could be. And I just think that, it could be Michigan State because they have the better point guard. Like Cassius Winston, the point guard for Michigan State, was a Big Ten Player of the Year. And if he dominates Tyus Jones, and Tyus Jones and RJ Barrett have basically been playing entire games because no one else can handle the ball. And if Cassius Winston can basically negate everything that Tyus Jones does, that means RJ Barrett's got the ball. And that means that nobody else, including Zion, gets to touch the ball. And RJ could throw up one of those 6 for 26 games, and Duke's going to lose. And for some reason, as soon as the bracket was announced, everybody started talking about how Duke is the worst 3-point shooting team in the nation. Like, this was some fucking secret 2 weeks ago when everybody was like, Duke's the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread.
Sure.
And all they're going to get is everybody's best 3-point shooting teams. And I'm taking Virginia Tech. Fuck everybody.
All right, we got Virginia Tech.
Haters can all shit on me when Duke thanks them, but it's not going to happen. And when I'm right, everybody needs to send their apologies.
I want to hear them, man, but I don't know about Duke being beaten by Virginia Tech.
I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. We're going to get to see Zion cry on national TV, and the basketball world is going to spend 2 days breaking down how Duke lost.
All right, so let me ask you a question as somebody who hasn't followed college basketball in a long time. Now, I did grow up in Raleigh, and as you may know, or I'm sure you know, for everybody who may not, Raleigh is right in between 3 big ACC schools with Duke, UNC, and NC State, all within 15 miles of each other.
Oh, you don't give Wake Forest any love? It's only like 20 minutes down the road.
No, I don't. And we didn't back then either. So, I grew up in a place where Carolina was the big, bad, villainous team. When did Duke turn into that? Because, UNC used to be the team that kids would leave early from. Now Duke's the one and done team, and UNC was was Dean Smith the guy that pushed that like that? What?
No, it was the post Dean Smith. I forget what his Doherty or whatever his name was. The guy that took over.
Brad Doherty.
You had Coach Guthridge, and then Matt Doherty, and then once good old boy Roy came, and his aw shucks and his Coca-Cola, everybody started to love him. And he doesn't recruit one and dones. He doesn't even like to start freshmen. He really makes them work to get in that starting lineup. And he just had that aw shucks mentality. Now, when I lived down in Raleigh, Duke is like the least popular team there. Like, everybody loves NC State. It is an NC State region.
Absolutely.
North Carolina, a strong second, and Duke is somewhere down there with Wake Forest.
For sure. Now, when I was growing up, Duke and UNC were the rival. And now State and UNC obviously, or State and UNC had a very big rivalry as well. Now, Duke and State have a rivalry, but it was always either one of those two. We had what we called the ABC rule. Anybody but Carolina. So while I don't root for State, I would root for State against Carolina. And I feel like that was the attitude with a lot of the people there. You were right. State was ravenously popular.
Yeah, and, but ESPN didn't make its deal with NC State. It made its deal with Duke. And when Duke started developing this weird, we're the brotherhood thing, I don't understand when that started, but it was great marketing, and now it's the brotherhood of one and dones at Duke. Whatever.
Okay.
But, the biggest scam is that nobody talks about all the bags that are dropped at Duke. Those duffel bags, cash, and houses that are bought, and all the other nonsense that goes on down there. Somehow Duke gets a pass on all of it. It can't have anything to do with their partnership with major networks, right? That would be ridiculous that a sports reporting network would not report on something like that, right? If it happened, ESPN would talk about it.
I'm sure they would.
They covered that Zion's parents got a house just down the road from Duke, right? And they moved from South Carolina?
I don't know if they covered that, per se.
They didn't cover that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
They definitely covered the blowout of the shoe.
That's weird. I can't believe that they didn't cover that. Huh. It's interesting. Darren Ravel didn't cover this?
I don't think so.
He's the big bad information and money guy, right? I have a thing. I just want you to know we officially have an enemy of the podcast, and his name is Darren Ravel.
Okay.
Because I challenged Darren Ravel to actually report on news and maybe actually be a journalist and report something that isn't like what a fucking kindergartner wrote up with crayons and then put it on his Instagram as actual fucking information. He actually listed what the cost of states were when they were originally purchased by the United States to add them up to equal Mike Trout's contract. Like that was some sort of fucking news. Look at it, your dog doesn't even like Darren Ravel because he's an asshole.
Yeah, he was making some sick noises behind me.
And Darren Ravel's the one that fucking shit all over what's her name? Oh, fuck, I can't remember. The girl that beat Cyborg. He shit all over her and said she wasn't a headliner, and I have a big fucking problem.
Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, he shit all over her. And it's he's a child. See? We gotta stop talking about Darren Ravel because the dog's not like it. And Darren Ravel needs to do some real fucking work. Stop taking pictures of giant fucking hot dogs at stadiums and telling me about the fucking food that they're selling for $18. The terrible reporter and your gambling advice sucks worse than your haircuts.
Wow. Oi! Settle down now.
All right, you ready to take over the South bracket and give the people more advice that they don't want?
The South bracket, man. I'm ready to move there. All right, let's pull this back up. South.
Let's knock this out.
All right.
Best story of the tournament is Virginia, first team ever to lose to a 16 seed last year, wins it all this year.
Whole tournament?
Is there a better story than that?
Zion winning one before he goes out?
Nah, that's the story they've all already written. That's not the best story. The best story is the team that lost to the 16 seed comes back, has their best player who was out that game, is back now. He's going to be the surprise, like, 4th or 5th pick in the draft. Nobody's fucking talking about him. His name's DeAndre Hunter, and he is going to be the tournament MVP. And Virginia has him. And they're going to fucking mop the floor. They're not even going to have to play a hard game until the Final Four.
All right, so we've got Virginia mapped all the way to the finals and as the champion. So how are they going to get there? What's going to happen underneath them in the brackets?
Mississippi, Oklahoma, flip a fucking coin. Who cares?
Oklahoma it is.
All right. Then you get Wisconsin, Oregon. Wisconsin was a darling. Wisconsin also gets a pass on a lot of their bullshit.
Okay. Like what?
Like when Bo Ryan, the guy that built that program, was caught cheating on his wife and other weird sexual misconduct stuff, he just decided, I'm not going to coach anymore, I'm going to retire. And nobody said a fucking word about it.
Okay.
They just let him go. And they had some other, internal strifes and faux pas within their team this year. And I just, you know what? I fucking take Oregon for no reason. Oregon's not the better team. They're not better coached. They're from the Pac-12, which sucks. And there's zero reason why Oregon should win, other than the fact that I think Wisconsin's falling apart. There's no logic to it. Just give me an upset. Oregon's the team. Kansas State's going to spank UC Irvine. They're going to put up a good first half fight. So if you want to bet UC Irvine in the first half to cover the spread, I think that's fair. Here's the other big upset that everybody's calling for is St. Mary's over Villanova, because Villanova's having a down year. St. Mary's just beat Gonzaga. Oh!
Okay.
St. Mary's beats Gonzaga every year at some point. They play them 3 times a year. At some point, they give them a good game. Villanova's going to wax that ass.
All right, give us Villanova. Purdue and Old Dominion.
Purdue is an interesting team. I can't remember the guy's name, but he takes a ton of shots, and they live and die by one player. He's very good, but at some point, he is going to shit the bed. So if somebody wanted to pick Old Dominion here, I'm not going to fight you. But I do think that Purdue is good and that they will get by. But you could look out for an upset there.
Okay.
I'm put Purdue in.
You got Purdue in.
Cincinnati, Iowa. I got something about Cincinnati I really like. I like their fiery ginger coach, Mick Cronin. He looks very angry all the time. They just won whatever their American Athletic Conference.
Yeah.
And they're going to beat up on Iowa, and I think, they'll get through. I like them a lot. We're going to hear more about them in just a second.
Okay.
Tennessee, they're going to run right over the Colgate. That's not going to be a big problem. I don't think there's any big stories in there other than maybe Oregon and Old Dominion. I think your next big story comes in the next round when Cincinnati and Villanova will both take out the 2 and 3 seeds in that bracket.
Woo!
Making it just fucking wide open for Virginia to walk all the way into the Final Four.
Okay. Villanova.
I think Kansas State beats Oregon. And then I think Villanova, just based on the fact that Jay Wright's a better coach and they get a hot game, and I think you get Villanova, Virginia in the Elite Eight. Villanova had, the story behind Villanova is they didn't clap when they made the tournament, and they were all they gave, and they acted like they had been there before, and they were pissed at how their season went. And I think everybody gets fucking excited when they win a couple games and it's Jay Wright doing it again. He's the great coach. Philadelphia 76ers are going to hire him. And I
Wow.
think he strings together a few wins, and that's the big story coming out of their Elite Eight loss is that Jay Wright's going to be the next coach of the 76ers.
All right. Well, that rounds out the South. Did we pick a winner between Virginia Tech and Michigan State in the Elite Eight of the East?
No, but I think it's Michigan State. It's an Izzo year. It's that Izzo thing. Or they lose in the first round, but I think it's Michigan State.
All right. There we go. And now to the West and Midwest. Where do you want to start off?
Let's start out in the West.
Okay.
Gonzaga.
They
are going to fucking spank everybody. They're so much better. Nobody watches them. Nobody ever sees them. They're never on TV. They are they're easily the second best team. Well, not easily, but they're right there with Virginia with talent, and they have 2 NBA players on their roster.
Okay.
One of them's a guard and one of them's a center. What more do you need in college basketball? Syracuse is going to lose because Karma fucking is mad at Syracuse right now.
Okay.
And I don't want to hear Buddy Boeheim's name one more time this year. I can't take it.
All right.
I just can't. I can't. My favorite story from this bracket is Ja Morant. Marquette, Murray State. God, it's going to be so fucking magical when that fucking guy throws up 13 points on 7 of 37 shooting and just it's garbage. And then everybody's going to tell me he's the number 2 pick in the draft. Well, everybody gets to watch him once, and then everybody gets to go, he sucks.
Okay. So what's your pick?
Marquette. Marquette's going to stomp that ass.
Stomp that ass.
Stomp that ass.
Okay. Florida State, Vermont.
The Catamounts of Vermont get a lot of love. But I think that's just because they're a Northeast team.
Okay.
I think Florida State's going to wax that ass, too.
Florida State waxing that ass.
We get another one of those, too, in the next round. Buffalo is the shit. Again, another team. Nobody has any clue how good they are. Do you remember Wichita State in a few years ago with, like, Kenneth Faried and Jamison Crowder and those guys and how they just, like, nobody knew, but every year they were like a 6 seed, 7 seed, 11 seed, and they would just run roughshod for 3 games?
Okay, yeah.
That's Buffalo. They're fucking good. In the Texas Tech game, I don't love Texas Tech. I think they're fading. I'm going with Northern Kentucky.
Well, there's an upset in the bracket, Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, Texas Tech lost in the first round of their tournament game. They're shit in the bed.
All right.
I don't think they put their big boy pants on for this game.
Right,
I want to skip the Nevada-Florida game for a second. Just slide Michigan in, and then let's talk about this Nevada-Florida game because you're gonna pick this one.
Okay.
Florida just won the SEC tournament.
Okay.
No, they didn't. They lost to Kentucky, but they made it to the finals.
Okay. That's decent.
Very letdown year, but they're playing really well. I have loved Nevada all year, but they haven't been playing great. But they did win their conference tournament, and Eric Musselman is fantastic. Do you remember him when he was in the pros?
Nope.
Okay. He was a pretty good guard, like a Rodney Stuckey type guard.
Okay.
I think he played on the Warriors. I think he started next with on that Run DMC team. But his wife is very involved. She wrote on his chest after he rips off his shirt. He's great at recruiting. They have a bunch of like senior transfers or JUCO transfers. They have twins on their team, Caleb and Cody Martin, that are really good. And for some reason, I can't talk myself into them winning the game, even though I really want to pick them. Now, I will also give you this bit of information. They suck in the first half, and they're fantastic in the second half. I can't tell you how many times this year they were losing by like 12 points to teams that they should have been smoking by 30 and end up winning the game by 20.
And that's Nevada?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going with Nevada. I like teams that do well under pressure.
We're going Nevada.
All right.
Now, Nevada has a real chance to beat Michigan then. And I love Michigan.
Okay.
If you want to get crazy, you can pick Nevada. Michigan's a better overall coach team. Talent-wise, it's pretty even. Michigan's more consistent and is really just...
Any packages? No.
And they've really just kind of grinded it out all year long. And they were in the Final Four. They were in the final last year.
Okay.
Talk me out of Nevada beating them.
Well, I mean, again, I like those teams that perform well under pressure. And if you say that Nevada performs well under pressure, they're a second half good team, then...
Michigan's better under pressure than Nevada.
Okay.
All right, it's Michigan.
Then yeah, I was gonna say, where's the question?
I can't make myself pick Nevada. I
Okay.
think Buffalo steamrolls Northern Kentucky.
We got to pick Marquette, Florida State. I accidentally drug Florida State in there. I don't know.
Nah, that's a winner. Marquette's gonna blow out Murray State, and then they're gonna eat a big bag of dicks in the next round.
All right, Gonzaga, you said was going to beat Florida State, right?
Yep.
Okay. Buffalo, Michigan.
God, I really want to pick Buffalo here. Really want to pick Buffalo, but it's going to be a tight game, but Michigan will pull it out.
All right, Michigan into the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Gonzaga, Michigan. Sounds like this is going to be a huge game, 1 versus 2 seed.
It's going to be a huge game, great game. Gonzaga's better.
Gonzaga's better.
Yep. If Michigan was in if like Michigan was in the Duke bracket, it would be Michigan in the Final Four. If Michigan was in UNC's bracket, Michigan would be in the Final Four.
Okay.
But Gonzaga really is that good.
All right. Well, that leaves. We'll wait for the final 4 picks. Let's start in the Midwest. North Carolina, Iona.
Because the Midwest is young and reckless. UNC. Put UNC all the way into the Elite Eight. They're not going to have nobody. There's nobody in that top half that can give them any trouble.
Okay. So we got Utah State versus Washington.
Close your eyes, flip a coin, throw a dart.
Washington.
Have a goldfish pick it.
Yeah, we're picking who's getting executed against North Carolina, so it doesn't really matter at that point, yeah?
Does not really matter.
All right, Auburn versus New Mexico State.
Auburn's on a roll.
Okay.
That's who won the SEC tournament, not Kentucky. Auburn, they're looking good. Bruce Pearl, that's another guy that's shady and gets passes because he's good on TV.
All right. Kansas Northeastern. That should be an easy Kansas, right?
No.
No.
You know how they say you don't know what team's going to show up?
Yeah.
You literally do not know who is going to show up for Kansas between players being suspended and out for the year and all sorts of crazy ass shit going on over there. You literally do not know the players that they will have available for the game.
Okay. Yeah, the best
And
ability is availability.
and this is the first time in the last 13 years that Kansas did not win the Big 12 regular season title.
So you're calling for a Northeastern upset?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
All right. And Auburn over Northeastern, you said they were on a roll?
Yeah, I like Auburn. Even if Kansas wins, I like Auburn in that.
Okay. All right. And Iowa State versus Ohio State.
Flip a coin. You want an upset? Pick an upset. You don't want an upset? Don't pick an upset.
I used to live close to Iowa State in Ames, Iowa, so I'm going to pick Iowa State.
It's not a bad pick. They're basically even, and you know, I think that game really comes down to, does the best player on Ohio State play like the best player? He's been so inconsistent, it doesn't matter. Okay. Houston is the team that most people don't know about. Guard centric. They got that perfect March Madness. We run, we gun. And they're coached by Kelvin Sampson, who I think people have long since forgotten about. That dude got fired from Indiana for sending too many text messages to a recruit, a violation which now is no longer a violation. And yet the guy got the worst fucking rap ever for like 4 extra text messages. And so I think this is his revenge tour. I think Houston, easy. I love Wofford over Seton Hall. This is the same Wofford team last year that beat UNC early in the year. Kentucky, obviously, over Abilene Christian University. I didn't even know that was a real place.
Every year there's one team that makes the tournament that I never knew existed.
Now, I think the best story is for Houston to beat Kentucky, right? And the matchup that the networks want is North Carolina, Kentucky.
Of course, yeah.
Because that would bomb ratings. Again, Daddy doesn't give you what you want. He gives you what you need. And what you need is for Wofford to beat Kentucky.
Okay.
And then Houston beats Wofford, and you get UNC Houston in a game that they might score like it's an NBA game. That game's going to be like 102-92.
Wow.
And that will be a welcome to the world where everybody might actually start to understand how good Cam Johnson is of UNC. Because he's going to be on the all-tournament team, and he might sneak into like the number 3 player picked in the upcoming draft. He is that good.
Okay.
And if people have a fucking brain, they're going to put him ahead of Ja Morant.
You spent a lot of time talking about how you don't like him.
I can't fucking stand him. He's too small.
All right, so North Carolina versus Houston in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I think that's where the Cinderella slipper comes out, and I think North Carolina's been playing too good lately. And Roy's aw shucks vibes. Roy's gonna aw shucks his way to the Final Four this year.
Okay. All right, so we've got him losing to Virginia in the Final Four, with Virginia obviously picking Virginia to win the whole thing. So that leaves one game: Michigan State versus Gonzaga. Where are you at there?
Oh, that's a Gonzaga. There's Gonzaga in a blowout.
Gonzaga in a blowout. So we got Gonzaga versus Virginia for the championship, and we're going Virginia. Total combined final score tiebreaker.
The final score is 69-64.
Oh, making me add 133.
133.
All right, there it is, folks. That is the bracket as described to a simpleton by Rich.
And best bet that I saw, prop bet that I saw, you can take an ACC team to win the tournament at -115. You're basically getting 1-to-1 on your money, and if any team from the ACC wins the tournament, you win.
Wow. I like that. But it doesn't have much. It doesn't have a big payout.
Yes. Bet 100, win 100. It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
It's about winning. See, this is a thing we'll talk about later. Later on, as we get more into like football and stuff. There's too much on what are the best odds. Where can I make the most money? That's not what gambling's about. Gambling's about winning.
Right.
What is the right bet to win on? Now, betting Floyd Mayweather at -15,000 might not be the best use of your money, but
how does that -15,000? So you bet $100 to make 15?
No, he would be more like -1,500, meaning that if like in a regular Floyd Mayweather fight, you would have to bet $1,500 on Floyd
to win 100.
Win 100.
Wow. Okay.
But if you can bet $1,000 and you're getting Duke, Virginia, North Carolina, plus all the other ACC teams, you're getting Virginia Tech, you're getting, who cares?
Yeah. You're getting Duke, Virginia, and North Carolina. That's the important thing.
Yeah, at even money. That's a great fucking deal.
Huh. All right.
It's the bet of the tournament. LSU to blow out Yale in the first round. Don't parlay all the 1s and 2s on the money line. Don't do that.
Okay.
That's a rookie mistake.
Why is that?
Because a 2 seed's going to screw you.
Okay, and in the parlay, you need all of your bets to win.
Right, and you're not gonna change the odds that much. Like, parlaying them, it amplifies. It makes the odds better. So like, Duke's probably like -1,500. Virginia's probably like -1,400. UNC's -1,300. Gonzaga's probably right. They're all right in there. So even if you parlayed all 4 1 seeds to win, you might get that down to -500. Meaning you'd still have to bet 500 to win 100.
Huh.
If you want to do all 4 1 seeds, I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay, so by the time you're betting the ACC and getting 1-to-1 on your money, you're getting a really good value on it too.
Right. And I'm just talking about that's just for the first round games. You bet all 4 1 seeds to win, parlay them all together, but that means they all have to win. You could probably get it down to like -500 or -600, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
But LSU in the first round, I think that shit's overblown. You're going to get good value there. Bet them on the money. Bet them on the spread. My first round, lock it up.
Okay, any other big first round stories that we're going to be talking about on Sunday night?
I think on Sunday night we're really going to be talking. I think the big story after the first week that we're going to hear is this isn't a Cinderella year.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about how lopsided college basketball is, how top heavy it is, and how are we going to make it, You know, where's the parity that we all know and love in this tournament?
And that is certainly reflected in your picks because you've got 3 1s and a 2 in the final 4. So there you go.
Yeah, I think once you get past the 2 seeds, every other team could lose. They're all equal after that. There's just not a ton of talent, and it's all top heavy.
Gotcha.
The whole idea of super teams from the NBA has trickled down, and kids want a Fab Five again, and that's what we're getting.
May as well.
Player empowerment
happening at every level. You gotta love it. Awesome. So look for those powerhouse teams to have a big weekend, and thank you all very much for tuning in tonight. sportsonhigh@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us, and we look forward to chatting with you again sometime soon. Later, y'all.
You put Duke in your championship game, you're a chump.
Yeah, don't be a chump.